I thought, how could anybody afford to feed this? But I had heard also all of the good things. It made me think, okay, well, all I can do is this one little group. Benefits far outweighed the cost. Dan Reinke, we're Sheridan, Wyoming. We run a cow-calf operation and cooperate with a seed stock producer running some extra cows. The cost of hay was going up well over $200 a ton. Cost of mineral was, climbing up. Trying to do some sort of a protein supplement as well, and you add those two things, and just those two pretty much got me to the cost of, okay, well, this is what Riomax is going to cost, and you can take the mineral side of it away and just even use the hay savings, and saving 5 to 6 pounds a day, you can cover the cost of Rio just with that hay savings. And wanted to, just sort of evaluate the product alongside what we were already doing. And so we created 2 groups, and I had those 2 groups side by side, same number of cattle, same number, basically feeding the same. You'd feed them both, and they weren't cleaning up all their hay. The other group was eating everything we gave to them. And then in the afternoon, you'd go down there and watch, and cattle on Riomax would be laying there chewing their cud, content, and the other cattle would be out trying to find anything else that they could, fill their bellies. And in a 3-week period, we had went through almost 3 of the other tubs on the other group to 1 tub of Riomax. So at that point is when I realized I needed to get the rest of my cows on it. With Riomax, we've been able to extend our pastures, which then you get to the end of the year and you end up having a stockpile of grass available. We're really trying to utilize more days grazing. More economical to do it that way than having it in a bale and have open ground and then still have to go feed because you already put it in a bale. But if it's standing out there and you have the open ground, you might as well let the cow do the work and let Rio accomplish that. When it turned 30 below in January, a lot of our neighbors started feeding. We still had hay meadows we hadn't touched yet, so we were able to just open a gate and let them out into a new pasture the day before it turned really cold. And we were able to went out there a couple days later, driving around with the pickup that we could feed with, and if they were hungry, they would be following us and barely even notice we were there. So we were just able to extend. We've never made it to February before. We're feeding around 13, 14 round bales a day. So 60 days savings on 14 bales. We were pushing up towards 1,000 bales that we saved. You can cover the cost of Rio just with that hay savings. Last year when we preg tested on right at 300 head, we had just right at 4 opens. And there were definitely some lates in there, but the 4 opens, only having 4 opens to have to sell, was a huge improvement over 10 or 12, which might have been the norm in the years previous to using Riomax. Having nearly 100% breed up on heifers, and we usually AI heifers, and we've had between 70 and 80% on our conception on AI. Our calving window, we've been able to shorten that up, from 75, 80 days to 45 to 60 days. We had started a group of some of the cooperator cattle on the Riomax. We ended up having just very minimal problems. We had cold weather, but calves were getting up and really getting going. And that same cooperator dropped in another 3 semi-loads of cows that were to calve in basically 2 weeks from that date. Then we intermixed those 2 groups, and as we started to have some troubles coming along with calving and calves not having the vigor, we started going back and looking at the paperwork and realized that the cattle we were having trouble with were the ones that were brought in. And my ranch hand and my son both commented that they thought that it was the difference in those cattle that we had that were on the Riomax. It just, the headaches, if you can get a calf that just gets up and is going within minutes and it gets that first colostrum, once they've had that colostrum, they can pretty much they take whatever the weather brings at them, because that first cow's colostrum is going to make all the difference. Every calf that you can save and every pound that you get is going to definitely cover in the fall. Gaining another 20 or 30 pounds on calves with the Riomax, the tub has definitely paid for itself on our operation, and almost a tenfold, I would say, in ways that you just don't even imagine, all the way from labor savings to conception to hay savings, and the benefit of having mineral and addressing the protein supplementation all in one tub, and it just across the board ends up being the tub that pays for itself.